Throughout most of World War II, two major powers, the Soviet Union and the Empire of Japan, remained at peace with one another. This all changed at the end of the war, when the other allies pressured the Soviets to declare war on Japan. The relatively short Soviet-Japanese War opened with a huge invasion of Japanese-held Manchuria. On August 9th, hours before the second atomic bomb was dropped, Soviet and Mongolian troops marched into Japanese prized occupied territory. The Soviets had previously promised the other allies to declare war on Japan within 3 months of the end of the war in Europe. The declaration of war was exactly 3 months to the day. Stalin wanted to avoid fighting a two-front war, but also wanted to gain territory from fighting in the east. For this reason, he was very deliberate to wait to declare war until he felt the Soviet Union could handle it and Japan was weak enough. Due to poor infrastructure, the Japanese lost contact with their forward positions shortly after the invasion began. Soviet forces quickly surrounded them with a pincer attack, coming from Mongolia in the east and around Kanka Lake to the west. About a week after the invasion began, Emperor Hirohito made a radio broadcast, not explicitly surrendering, but saying that Japan must accept the terms of the Potsdam Declaration. Poor broadcast quality and bizarre wording choices further confused the message. Nonetheless, Japan had technically surrendered. As can be expected, many Japanese groups either did not understand or refused to believe the surrender. The Soviets took advantage of this resistance as they continued their advance, even after the surrender. Soviet advances continued past Manchuria with amphibious landings in the northern part of the Korean peninsula on August 18th. A few weeks later, on September 8th, American forces landed in Incheon to establish a non-communist presence in the formerly Japanese-occupied territory. After the invasion, the Japanese puppet state of Manchukuo was defunct and placed under temporary Soviet rule. Soviet presence also allowed them to claim North Korea as communist-held territory. Many Japanese citizens were left behind, especially women and children. Eventually, they were able to return, but many stayed with their new families in China. The Soviet invasion of Manchuria can be seen in two distinct ways, either as a shrewd attack to claim territory after America, Britain, and China had weakened Japan at great cost, or as the final nail in the coffin of the Japanese Empire. Perhaps both are right. Regardless, it was easily one of the fastest army advances in the Pacific, maybe even the most impressive of the entire war. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe. I'm Matthew, and I hope I'll see you next time.
Goodbye, goodbye, went a tear, baby dear, from your eye. Though it's hard to part, I know, I'll be sick of the death to go. Don't cry, don't sigh, there's a silver lining in the sky. Bonsoir, old thing, cheerio, chin chin, na boo toodaloo, goodbye.